Hello and welcome back to the Wrestling Group. I am your host, as always, Ryan, and today we are going to be doing our second episode of the Looking Back series. Episode 1, if you haven't seen it yet, you can check it out. If you go through, you'll be able to find it. It is the Looking Back at the League of Nations faction, which was a faction in WWE. And so today we are going to be looking at WCPW, What Culture Pro Wrestling, / Defiant, as they changed the name. So we're going to take a look back at that and let us know, obviously, your thoughts and opinions on the wrestling company WCPW. So there we have it. So WCPW was a British independent promotion founded in 2016 by the members of What Culture Wrestling, the YouTube channel, as a result of the channel's ever-growing popularity. WCPW was revealed to the world via YouTube on a video on May the 25th, 2016. God, seems like forever ago now. It's been nearly 4 years since it's been off the air, and I can't believe how quick it's gone. I've still got so many fond memories of the company. WCPW announced its first 2 shows for June 15th and 16th, with stars such as Noam Dar, Rampage Brown, Big Damo, aka Killian Dane, and Jay Lethal, who actually defended his Ring of Honor World Television Championship on just the second show, which showed obviously straight away that they were going to get eyes on the product. A current world champion in a major promotion, already defending his belt on the second show. Both shows were taped at Warehouse 34 in Newcastle and drew an estimated 100 fans, which is pretty good going for early doors. For your first 2 shows, like you say, 100 fans is really good going. On July 19th, WCPW announced a weekly show which would air on YouTube and will be called Loaded. During the first big event, Built to Destroy, Big Damo would become the company's first ever world champion, and then other championship belts obviously slowly started to follow. We had the Women's Championship, the Tag Team Championship. We had some great tag teams in WCPW, you know, the likes of War Machine, the Briscoe Brothers, the Swords of Essex, and then we had the Internet Championship, and I think by the end they had the Hardcore Championship as well. But during the WCPW's first IPPV event, so the Internet Pay-Per-View event, the live stream for some viewers ranged from a bit sketchy to pretty much unwatchable. On the What Culture Extra site, which obviously they set up for the wrestling shows that they were putting on, but obviously Fight TV had no such problems, but I think it was a lot cheaper if you were subscribed to the What Culture Extra website at the time, so a lot of people have gone through that rather than Fight and ended up experiencing problems. So the first actual paid for events that they put up on the internet instead of just being free to air on YouTube ended up with some major issues, with fans taking to social media to voice their frustrations. The next event aired back on YouTube as they look to solve the issues from the first paid internet pay-per-view, should we say the IPPV. Big names then started to show up on the shows, with the likes of Cody Rhodes, who obviously not long left the WWE, Drew Galloway, aka Drew McIntyre, War Machine, obviously like I said before, they were the IWGP Tag Team Champions from New Japan at the time. You might know them now as the Viking Raiders, I think they're called now. Viking Raiders, Viking Experience, one of the two. Walter, who obviously now knows Gunther, and even Kurt Angle. When they brought Kurt Angle in, they'd advertised him for the show. So the show before, they'd done the it was the Angle Invitational or something like that it was called, and it was like a mini tournament, and whoever won got to then face Kurt Angle on his debut in WCPW, which ended up being Joe Hendry, who now wrestles for Impact. So there's a lot of guys that were big names already, and then there was a lot of guys that were massive names at the time but have gone on and become big names, if you like. So obviously Joe Hendry, you know, he was a big name on the indies, but if you were only watching the likes of WWE, you probably didn't know who he was. and now obviously he's doing some really good things. I believe in Joe Hendry in Impact Wrestling. There was definitely a buzz going around the internet for the new promotion, as so many big indie names, if you like, and stars began to work the shows. You know, I remember on our wrestling group on the sorry, not on the YouTube channel, on the Facebook page, a lot of fans were watching it, sharing videos, sharing links. You know, it just gives us a chance to be able to see these wrestlers that we wouldn't normally probably get a chance to see. Like I knew of Will Ospreay, must have only been not long before, but I didn't get, unless there was matches uploaded on YouTube, there wasn't really an option for me to be able to watch many of his matches. I think he'd done maybe a couple of little matches in Ring of Honor before WCPW to give me a chance to watch the likes of Ospreay. Walter, I didn't even know who Walter was before WCPW. You know, War Machine, I'd obviously watched them in New Japan, but I could see them a lot more on WCPW. So I remember that being a big talking point and a big selling point, obviously. And then the likes of Kurt Angle coming in as well, you know, massive name. Drew Galloway the same, you know, he'd done well in Impact, and obviously he'd sort of failed a little bit in WWE at that time. In 2017, WCPW announced it would be holding a World Cup. 64 wrestlers from around the world to face off in a tournament. Now, I remember when this was announced, a lot of the indie promotions, I know I keep saying it, indie promotions were sort of like, you know, you're never going to really pull that off. It's a big thing, you know. And they were doing the qualifying matches in the different countries, you know, like Germany, Mexico, Japan. So I remember there being a big buzz, and you know what, some of the matches were brilliant, and I'm pretty sure you can still find the whole tournament online to this day as well. The tournament included some massive names in wrestling, such as Alberto El Patron, who was obviously Alberto Del Rio in WWE, Bobby Fish, Bushi, Drew Galloway, Ray Fenix, Hiromu Takahashi, James Storm, Jay Lethal, Jushin Thunder Liger, Kyle O'Reilly, Kushida, Mark Davis, Moose, Nick Aldis, Penta L0M, Rene Dupree, Ricochet, Will Ospreay, Zach Gibson, and Zack Sabre Jr. So some massive names there. Obviously, by this point, height in popularity, a lot of fans were watching, and you know, just adding the likes of these names at the time, only being like a year in, you know, obviously got a lot of people talking about the promotion, got a lot of eyes on the product, for such a massive tournament that was held. Kushida then went on to win the cup. On May 22nd, 2017, WCPW was forced to cancel the weekly show Loaded after YouTube considered wrestling to be violent. So remember there being a thing, I think they posted on Twitter to say that they weren't able to continue with the content of Loaded, but they were willing to obviously do a petition and start fighting back against, you know, what they seen as the big corporation in YouTube, to try and get the weekly show back on. Because I remember I used to watch it as well, and especially with it being a British promotion, you know, mainly being filmed over here in England, you know, that it wasn't stupid o'clock in the morning. That was my absolute favourite thing. It was free on YouTube to watch, so I didn't have to pay for a subscription anywhere, and it was like 7, 8, 9 o'clock matches, you know what I mean? So I remember setting up my tablet, sometimes getting on the Fire Stick on the TV, and just basically just go on WCPW, put it in. Well, probably just check your subscribes, because we were subscribed to it at the time. Live events, bang, put it on, starts in 5 minutes, watch the countdown, watch the matches. It was just brilliant. It was fantastic. You don't get stuff like that anymore, unfortunately. WCPW then went and created a pay-per-view named Fight Back and made a petition to bring back Loaded, and they were successful, with Loaded returning on July 25th. So they only missed, I think it was like 2 months worth of weekly YouTube shows, if you like. You know, they done the Fight Back pay-per-view with, you know, basically it all being aimed at getting this weekly show back, and they were successful as well. I mean, when do you hear of these type of things being a success? Sorry, a little bit of a cold. On September 19th, WCPW announced the departures of several of their on-air talent, such as Adam Blanford, Adam Pacici, King Ross, Sam Driver and Jack the Jobber. So these were guys that were on screen, but they were also the founding members of WCPW. So, you know, there was a big hit there in regards to one on screen, so a lot of people did originally tune in for these guys, you know, especially at the beginning when they ran the whole storyline of the two factions going against each other. I think it was Pachici's versus Blanford's factions that went against each other. That was like the main storyline right at the very beginning. Obviously Pacici as well being the first general manager of WCPW, so that did hurt the product and the promotion quite a bit, to be fair. A lot of people didn't think it would at the beginning, but it definitely did. After these departures, Stu Bennett, aka Wade Barrett, was named as the general manager, and WCPW was rebranded as Defiant and Defiant Wrestling. Defiant ended the loaded weekly show and announced its first pay-per-view under its new name, We Are Defiant. The new subscription service Access Defiance was launched alongside the event, obviously replacing the WCPW one that was that they had previously. It's just simply called Defiant, Access Defiance, sorry. With the name changed out, also came a change in talent, when most of the big names that were used previously were no longer being used, and of course that loses its law in itself. You know, a lot of loyal fans did stay for the first couple of shows, obviously watching some of the guys that they'd watched anyway from the beginning, but without the names of the likes of Kurt Angle, Cody Rhodes, Drew Galloway, you know, Matt Hardy as well. These are big names in wrestling that people will just tune in, just watch them. If you've got that in your bio, in your link, in your hashtags on YouTube, on your posters on Twitter, you know, people are going to take notice if they haven't watched before. Also, a lot of people, if you're going through, and it was sort of, I remember it not being like as general knowledge as you'd expect. The fact that it was changing over, unless you literally followed everything WCPW, you didn't really know that there was a name change coming. So I could imagine, like, a couple of weeks down the line, a couple of months down the line, you're going on YouTube and it comes up subscriptions Defiant, and you like click on it and there's a list of these guys you've probably not heard of properly, especially if you're not obviously in it from the beginning. You're only watching because of the big names. You're probably like, who the hell's this? Unsubscribe. So, you know, that was a big loss to the company. Defiant then tried a weekly YouTube show again, simply called Defiant this time, but it failed to draw the numbers. Like I say, a lot of people probably unsubscribed after WCPW stopped and the big name stopped, and eventually they did try and go back to the loaded name to try and, you know, feedback on the previous fans that they'd had before with WCPW. With the problems that they started to get, you know, the viewership's going down, Defiant ran into more problems again with YouTube, with wrestling being classed as non-advertiser friendly, so they had more issues from YouTube. Obviously viewerships have gone down, you know, the big names aren't coming back in, you know, after the change it just started going down, and then every time there was an issue, there was something else come back in. Like I say, this was pretty much the last straw, as this was 2018, and on August the 2nd 2019 Defiant Wrestling closed down for good. So that is the brief history of WCPW and Defiant, if you like. It's the same company, but still. And it ran from 2016 to 2019. So in reality, 3 years, but they had that massive World Cup tournament in 2017. They had some massive stars involved. They had some great titles, title matches, and like I say, there was a lot of people tuning in to watch at one point, and then it starts going downhill. Like I say, the name change, the main guys leaving as well who started the company, and then also the likes of NXT UK became a thing as well, and a lot of these guys were getting tapped up for that. And then there's other wrestlers that are going to different promotions, you know, feeding off what they've done in WCPW. So unfortunately, it did eventually come to a close. But for me, I've got many fond memories of watching matches and events and stuff from WCPW, especially. So like I say, this was just a look back at the company. So what are some of your favourite moments and matches? Let me know in the comment section below. Probably my favourite match, if I'm just thinking, like, I do need to go back and I need to watch some more of these matches now, but the one that always sticks out to me, and I have watched numerous times and it is still available on YouTube, is Will Ospreay versus Walter. Like I say, I'd only just got into Will Ospreay not too long before. Didn't really have anywhere to watch him before WCPW became a thing, and I didn't even know who Walter was. I'd heard the name because I think he was Progress Champion as well at the time, but I didn't have access to be able to watch him. So, but the match between them two was just brilliant. Again, there's other guys that they brought my attention to. Joseph Connors, he had a fantastic run. Martin Kirby, you know, these guys had not even heard of before, and I was starting to watch Rampage Brown, another one that I hadn't heard before now. So, like I say, it for me only brings good memories, and unfortunately, you know, the turn it ended up taking, you know, they did spend a hell of a lot of money, especially in the beginning as well, bringing all these big names in. But yeah, let me know if there's any favourite moments or matches that you have of WCPW/Defiant in the comment section. Also, let me know. I am looking to do more on WCPW and Defiant going forward, so let me know if it's something that you would watch again in the comment section, because I might do a top 5 WCPW matches. You never know. So like I say, give us a like, comment, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. It's The Wrestling Group. Obviously you know because you've clicked on it, but I've got it on a t-shirt now, so I'm going to make sure I plug my own t-shirt. But yeah, like I say, like, comment, subscribe, and be sure to keep an eye out for more wrestling related content coming your way soon.